Hi and welcome to Leitrim Daily. My name is Breffney Early and you're listening to In Focus here on the channel. It's episode 174 and today I am joined by something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about an event that's coming up in the Hive in Carrick-on-Shannon on the 12th of February at 7 o'clock for 2 hours, and it's titled Getting a Better Night's Sleep, which I know interests me and I'm sure interests a lot of people who maybe, like myself, struggle to unwind at the end of a night and get that good 6, 7, 8 or 9 hours sleep, whatever it is you want in your life. It's all about HeartMath. We'll talk about that in pretty much a lot of detail over the next 25 minutes or half an hour or so of the show. Charlotte Mary Wray, welcome to the programme.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Breffney.
You're more than welcome. That's not a local accent, but you do live in Drumshanbo, and we're going to talk about all of that in the next half hour. But first of all, tell us a little bit about HeartMath and what it is, and then we might chat about you a little bit after that.
Perfect. Yes. HeartMath is an amazing system that I can say from personal experience has transformed my life. It's a system that's backed up with science for the last nearly 30 years, and it's the biggest study on the heart-brain connection in the world. It's used by a lot of big companies. You won't necessarily realise it, but a lot of the police force in Holland use it. They're all trained in it to be first responders. It's a system that's really and truly practical, straightforward and easy to use for anybody from anywhere, no matter of your beliefs. Basically, it uses your heart and your mind to connect, to be more coherent, which is not a word that we really use very often in life, but basically it helps you to think straight, to recharge your inner battery and to perform under stress, and to sleep better, have less overwhelm, anxiety and depression in your daily life, which is something that I really and truly understand from a personal perspective, and why I'm so passionate about this system, because it's really straightforward.
Sounds great. Where do I sign up? But in terms of yourself, let's talk a little bit about yourself so we can kind of get a better understanding of where you've come from and how you've ended up in Leitrim. So who is Charlotte Mary Wray?
Charlotte Mary Wray is a person that's passionate about personal development. I was born in the UK, moved to Ireland when I was really young, lived here for more than half my life, worked in Dublin for many years, worked in a very stressful environment. I ran events in Dublin for many years. I truly believe if I had HeartMath in my life back 7-8 years ago when I was running national events that were all over the TV, I would have performed so much better than I did. But I've been practising Buddhism since I'm 3 years old, which is not really common, I would say, in Ireland. But I moved here, and myself and my family had goals and dreams to really and truly paint a new canvas for our lives. And I've been practicing, as I said, Buddhism for many years, but I've really been passionate about investing in my personal development, doing a lot of courses, business studies, meditation, and following a lot of people in personal development that had results that truly showed in their life. They weren't just, I suppose, I was following people that were doing the things that they say they were going to do and were walking their talk. So about 7 years ago, I decided to really paint a new canvas, to start applying the knowledge that I'd learned over the years. And I'd always have people come to me and ask me for advice. Even when I was an event manager, someone would say, oh, you know what, Charlotte, you're very wise, you're very passionate about what you do, and you're very, you got a good heart and you know how to help people. So I kind of got into a space where I came across a lot of people that were asking for help. Really and truly, when it came to that, it was people that were suffering depression, anxiety, and I seemed to be in the right place at the right time, and I would give them words of encouragement or suggest something that they could do to help themselves. And I realised that I had a gift to really work with people and to really be practical and straightforward when it comes to their mental health or peak performance and going for their goals and dreams. So it's not something I can say that I dreamed that I would ever do, but it's something that has come to me over periods of my life, and going through my own personal, I would say, tragedies and transformation. I've really and truly been able to help and have compassion and understanding for people in front of me. So I dreamed of being a dancer when I was 3 years old.
Didn't we all? Maybe not. That wasn't
no.
my list.
But I was danced professionally in concerts and bands and in choreography from when I was 3 till I was 22. and then really transformed my career. I'm 36 now, but spent the last 7 years coaching, training and transforming people around the world. And I came to Drumshanbo kind of not by plan. I moved overseas, and I came back to kind of go through a chapter of my life that wasn't very pretty, and my family were living in the wider area, and that was about 6 years ago. And I just find that the people in Drumshanbo are amazing. I come and I go around the world, but it's a place that I love to be around because it's such a beautiful part of Ireland. And never imagined that I'd live here, but I do. And I find that I'm able to create value in my wider community with what I do, which is something that I wrote down many years ago as a goal of mine, to make a difference in my community and the people around me.
Let's talk about this event on the 12th of February, because I think anyone who's listening now is either in or out at this stage. The 12th of February, 7 p.m. in the Hive. It's titled Getting a Better Night's Sleep. What exactly will people find out on that night? What are they going to hear? What are they going to experience?
So people are going to find practical ways to really and truly turn down the stress in their life. A lot of people that are, especially business owners, find themselves probably lying in bed at night with thoughts going around in their head, what they need to do for their business, like customers they need to speak to, things they need to do. There's a lot of pressure there they will be under having a business. And this workshop is designed to help them to turn down the volume and their stress in their life in order to be able to get a better night's sleep. Sleep affects everything completely, your whole body. If you're not sleeping well and you're waking up constantly during the night, your body can't perform at its best. So people that come along to the night are going to find out how they can turn down the volume of their stress, practical tips that they can use on a daily basis to really and truly just focus in on what they need to do and when they need to do it, and go home after the event with tools, an app on their phone that's free that they can use themselves, that's focused on coherence and de-stressing. They'll learn how to get a better night's sleep practically, and I'll be teaching them practical things for them to share, you know, with other people, to be able to turn down the volume of the stress. Because when you're a business owner, you're sometimes spinning a lot of plates.
Absolutely, trying to keep them all going is a minor miracle at the best of times for some people. So this is really just about kind of managing that and managing the mental side of actually keeping those plates spinning.
Yeah, absolutely, because a lot of people don't talk about it, but owning a business can be very overwhelming, very stressful, not just financially, but all the other areas of your life. Your family life can be affected, your health can be affected. There's so many areas of your life when you're a business owner that you probably don't necessarily even think about. And you kind of can wake up one day and go, how did I get in this situation? How did I start to lose my temper? How did I start to get angry? You know, when was the last time I got a good night's sleep? It's like we don't ask ourselves the questions, and sometimes you have this moment of like, wow, how did I get here? And it's an eye-opener. It's like, well, what can I do about it? You know, how can I get myself back on track? How can I, you know, just turn down the volume of the stress and really have practical ways for me to live my life? And you know what? A lot of people don't have the time, the energy, that they don't think they do, to go away somewhere and to, you know, de-stress, to disconnect, to reconnect to their goals or their dreams. They just don't have the benefit of doing that in that moment. When they come along to this workshop, they will realise that there are ways that you can manage your stress and to perform better and to sleep better. And it doesn't need to be, you know, somewhere exotic like Bali or Italy or Bora Bora. It doesn't have to be. That's not practical for people. Obviously, I would love to see people be able to go away, but I want people to go away from this event having tools and tips that they can use in their daily life. I mean, if it's good enough for the Navy SEALs, if it's good enough for, you know, for NASA that use their technology, Microsoft in the UK, ITV use it. Like, there's a lot of different big organisations that use this system and this technology, and if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for Leitrim locals. That's the way I see it.
Now, you mentioned Bali and Italy in particular and going away, and while it might not be available to everybody, it's something that's a very big part of your world, because you run retreats all over the globe, but specifically in Bali and Italy, you have some coming up later this year.
Yes.
Tell us about what that retreat might look like, and I suppose how people might go about signing up for that, if that's something that would interest them.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm really passionate about disconnecting to reconnecting. So getting someone away from their environment, getting them away from all of the phones and the laptops and, you know, maybe the family and the business, and getting away to really and truly just disconnect to the outside world and to get into their own world of, you know, what do I really want in my life? What goals and dreams do I have, and how can I perform better? When people arrive at my retreats, they love it because I take care of everything from the minute that they arrive. So all of their needs are met in relation to their diet. So we have, I'm not like, I eat meat, basically.
You're not
but,
a vegan? Or...
I'm not a vegan, but I'm a choositarian. I choose what I want to have, and I'm flexible with things.
Choositarian? That's
absolutely.
A new one.
Yeah.
Is that the same as flexitarian?
Similar, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
What's the difference?
Because so it's just some people say, well, I'm flexible with what I do. Like choositarian, I guess you can use the same terminology, but it's just like I don't have a problem with what people want to eat. If they want to eat for health, absolutely have a conversation with them. But I don't put myself in a box and saying I am a vegan or I'm a vegetarian. I might have years ago, but now I'm like, no, how do I feel about what I eat? So yeah, I don't think there's a definition. Maybe Oxford Dictionary will bring one out eventually, but no. When people come to Bali, all of their food is organic. They have green juices. I'm really passionate about alkalizing your body. They get a massage when they arrive. They get a massage, and they have Reiki massages in one of the best spas in the whole of Indonesia. It's number 1 on TripAdvisor, so I get them appointments there, which are like booked up 6 months in advance. We work on goals. We do a lot of work on forgiveness and gratitude, because a lot of people are carrying a lot of emotional baggage in their life, and there's things that's probably affected them for maybe 20, 30 years that they'd never come to peace with. So I get them to go through that work in a safe, supported environment. We have private villa, we've got swimming pools, you know, we've got like personal chefs that are there at our events, and they're really around a group that are all on the same kind of journey of personal development. I like to work with people before they come to an event, because I like to prep them before they come, so they're supported, whether that's over the phone, you know, online, and then they come to the retreat and they're able to go through the water ceremonies for cleansing. It's a very spiritual experience. We have fun, you know, we'd be like riding quad bikes or being on Bali swings, and like they have fun as well. And I get some of the best people in Bali that do ceremonies, like fire ceremonies and everything, to kind of have an experience to do something different in Bali. So yeah, I work with people while we're there as well. I do one-on-one coaching with them, meditation. We do a lot of HeartMath work, but my own coaching program as well that I've designed over the years. And then, you know, when they go home, I check in with them to see how they are. So like Bali retreats are very different to the Italian retreat I'm doing. The Italian retreat I'm doing is going to be in October later this year with the former CEO of HeartMath. So he works as a human renaissance coach, as he calls himself now, and he was one of the co-creators of HeartMath, but he stepped away due to his own health problems, and him and I are collaborating on a retreat in Italy, and that's going to be very similar to Bali, but different environment. And Bruce Cryer is his name. He lectures in Stanford University, which is obviously one of the most famous universities in the world. He actually teaches HeartMath there twice a year, with the best in the world of health and entrepreneurship. So him and I are running a retreat in Bali together. So we're co-creating that. In Italy, co-creating that one together in October. And on my website is going to be where all the information is to sign up for both of them.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a moment, because I'm almost certain that there's people listening to this that are saying, she mentioned Reiki, she mentioned fire ceremonies, water ceremonies. That's all a load of bunkum. Why would I do that? What would your response be to that person who's maybe throwing their phone at the wall at this stage, going, she doesn't know what she's talking about, throw the phone at the wall? Yeah,
well, I guess for me, I look at the results of the people that are doing this work. I look at the peak performers. I look at the people that are big into personal development. I look at the people in Silicon Valley, in the likes of, you know, like it or hate it, Facebook, Instagram. Some of the biggest businesses in Silicon Valley and San Francisco are doing a lot of this kind of work, meditation. They have it as part of their health and wellness programs for their organizations. So if, you know, they are the biggest companies in the world that are reaping results, and the people that are, let's say, we're talking to business owners, if what you're doing right now is working, you know, go ahead, stay doing what you're doing. But if you're open to do something different and you want a different result in your life, you've got to be open. I always say closed minds don't get fed. If you think you know everything, then you really and truly need to come along and experience something different, and then have a conversation about it. Because if you're skeptical, skeptical minds for me don't necessarily they're not the most positive people to be around. So this isn't for people that are skeptical or are happy to sort of, be dimmer switches, come into the room and dim the light and the energy. You got to be open to receiving something new or doing something new, and then talk about the results. Because I'm always about, there's science behind a lot of this stuff. Like, yes, HeartMath is a scientific system that completely is backed up with science. What we do in Bali or what we do in Italy is very different, because we want people to have an experience. It's about an experience. It's like listening to music is an experience. So it's not for everybody. But what I can say about HeartMath is it's really a case of science now getting up to speed with what we've known for many thousands of years as humans, that the heart is at the center of everything. And I mean, it was only in the 80s where we discovered, I suppose, through scientific studies, that the heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. Some people don't even know that, and that was over 30 years ago. So there's a lot to learn. If you're skeptical about Reiki, if you're skeptical about, fire ceremonies and everything, like, that's great, no problem.
This probably isn't for you then.
No, it's not for you.
To that person who might be a little bit skeptical, or maybe that little bit negative in their appearance,
Mm-hmm.
but underneath it all wants to try and be more positive in their life, what would your advice to that person be? Is there an opportunity for them to get involved in this, or maybe just to think a little bit more outside the box?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, what I can say is, worst case scenario, you come along to this event, you have 2 hours, you have, tea, you're around like other business people that are like moving in their direction with their business, you're going to meet people. Like, that's the worst case scenario, you're going to lose 2 hours. Best case scenario, you come along and you learn even one thing from this 2 hours about how you can focus your energy and de-stress. I mean, for somebody that wants practical, straightforward tips, I would literally tell them to get a piece of paper out and put draining situations down on one side of the paper and renewing situations on the other side of the paper. And I would ask themselves the question, write down the things in your life right now that are draining you, that are draining your energy today. Whether that's, something to do with a client, a consumer, a family member, something that's annoying you, whether it's health-wise, you're not feeling good, or whatever that is, write down the draining situation so you know what's going on. And then write down the things that are making you feel good. Oh, well, I enjoyed going for a walk, or I enjoyed listening to the music, or I enjoyed going to the gym, or I enjoyed, time with my family. So we want people to really look at what's draining them, because your inner battery of your life is being depleted if you're drained, if you're constantly addicted to that stress. Once we know what's going on, then we can focus on, well, what makes me feel good? So do more of that. That's practical. It's like doing a pros and cons list of a situation. It's really not that difficult to do, but most people don't take the time out. They're just stuck in that rat race of doing the same thing over and over again with their habits, and they just don't stop to think, well, maybe I could just sit down for 5 minutes and write down a list of the things that I need to address, even if they're difficult, and look at the things that are good, because there's always something good going on, even if stuff is really difficult and bad at the moment.
Now, you mentioned that you've been practicing Buddhism for, your entire life, since you were 3 years of age. Growing up in Ireland, most people would have been born into a Catholic faith, maybe a few Church of Ireland and other bits and pieces floating around as well. But in terms of Buddhism, it's not a religion that people would be that familiar with, maybe on the media, in terms of TV or radio or online. Where does that happen, and how does that happen, and how does that shape you as a person in terms of where can you practice? Are there other people around who also practice that faith?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not normal, I would say. What is normal? But in Ireland, there's probably only about 400 people that practice Soka Gakkai International Buddhism. So this particular type of Buddhism is, the basics of it now are in Japan, but there's about 12.5 million of us in the world that practice this particular type of Buddhism. We have just become registered in Ireland after over 30 years of being here in Ireland. There's a lot of, I guess, to mention famous people that practice our type of Buddhism, we would know or know of. Herbie Hancock's a very famous musician. Miranda Kerr, a very famous Australian model. Orlando Bloom is an SGI Buddhist as well. There's a lot of actors and people in the arts that practice Buddhism. And it's something I guess Buddhism and Soka Gakkai International, is Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism, is something that we see problems in a different way. We see problems as opportunities to transform, and we see how we can transform a situation into something good. And that we believe that by transforming it, that we turn things around. There's different quotes like turning poison into medicine. Like, what did I learn from a situation? Not giving your power away to something external of yourself, that you're personally responsible for how you respond to a problem or a situation. We chant. Nam-myoho Renge Kyo is what we chant, and that's something that we do in the morning and the evening. I'm just thinking Larry King had Tina Turner. Tina Turner is one of the most famous Buddhists in the world, and she practiced the type that I practice. And you see, it's about actual proof. People, everyday, ordinary people that practice Buddhism around the world have actual proof of their results of practicing Buddhism. So we'll say, look, you know what, this is your problem. This is what you can chant about it, and chant to transform this situation. And, you know, whether it's to transform to have courage or strength to move forward in your life. And I've always been around SGI as a child in the UK and in Ireland. And I guess it's opened my mind to people, and to not be judgmental, and to accept people who they are in front of me for who they are. And in Ireland, there's a SGI website. If anyone is interested, they can always message me on my website or my Instagram to get more information. But there's a lot of stuff on YouTube, and it's not normal, I would say, but we're growing here. We've got a lot of local people that are interested, and we have a home-based practice. So people, we have meetings at home. We don't have to go to a temple to practice, and we practice at home. So yeah, it's positive philosophy, and it's more of a way of living. Than, you know, it being something external. Other religions is like, you know, you look for the power outside of you, whereas with Buddhism, it's like it's within me, and it's up to me to, you know, have the courage to transform this situation. And we're all about world peace and, you know, self-empowerment.
Excellent. Obviously, that's completely separate from the HeartMath stuff.
Absolutely.
Very different. You're
100%.
You're not going to be converted to Buddhism by signing up for the workshop on the 12th of February. So, just a reminder to people: it's getting a better night's sleep.
Yeah.
It's all to do with HeartMath. People can find that more on your pages and on Google.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's the 12th of February here at 7 p.m. in the Hive. Where can people find more information on yourself and HeartMath? Where's your website and your social media? You might give them a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is Made It with Charlotte. So just MADEIT with WITH Charlotte.com. And the same on Instagram. Is the same handle on Instagram. Yeah, you can find my Instagram. You can find all my links. And HeartMath have a website, heartmath.com. If you want to get some more information about the technology, but you can find it all on my website.
And if you fancy a couple of days in Bali with you, where can people find the information?
On my website, yeah. There's a request for information form. There's only 2 spots left for one of the retreats. Have a couples retreat and have an individuals retreat. So yeah, we have people flying in from all over the world, including Ireland, to go there and be there for 5 days.
Excellent. A couples retreat in Bali sounds pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for popping into us. It's been a pleasure having your company this morning. The very best of luck in Bali and Italy. I'm sure you won't need any luck, because it sounds like it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
And just a reminder to people, if they are interested, they can get the details on your website and on our website for the 12th of February, 7 p.m, getting a better night's sleep, which I'm sure most of us could do with. I know I certainly could benefit from getting a better practice and better habits around my nocturnal sleeping activities. Thank you so much for popping in. This, of course, was In Focus here on Leitrim Daily. My guest was Charlotte Mary Wray, and you can find her on her social media accounts. They'll be linked in the descriptions of the podcast as well. Charlotte, thank you very much for coming in to have a chat with us. The very best of luck, and I will be back tomorrow with a look at what's on around the county. Talk to you then.